That's how you make a 25-pound bag of rice last 25 years. Welcome everybody to the Prepared and More YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about long-term food storage in bulk items. Now a lot of people buy a small freeze dryer, they dehydrate, they do all kinds of things, but one of the most economical ways to store lots of food, lots of calories, is to do bulk storage. And specifically today we're going to talk about bulk storage in 5-gallon buckets. So what we're going to talk about today is something that can save you a lot of money if you just do it yourself, using things you can easily pick up at your local warehouse store, or also you can buy them online. We'll have links for those down below. If you don't live near one of these stores, you can certainly get them online on Amazon. So where do you get this stuff? Well, the food in particular, we love Sam's Club or Costco. Any of these bulk warehouse stores has large quantity food, but you can buy it at a variety of different stores locally if you have those. You can buy them online on Amazon or from other online sources. For example, today we're going to talk specifically about this 25-pound bag of rice. Picked it up easily at Sam's Club for about $14. So that's a lot of calories in here. There's actually, they say 250 servings inside this one bag, and that's a pretty economical food choice, and it provides calories and nutrition both. So what other supplies are you going to need other than your food? Well, you're going to need obviously your food. You're going to need buckets. Let's talk a minute about buckets. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there about buckets. Everybody wants food grade buckets, and they assume that food grade buckets have to be white. Well, that is not true at all. Food grade buckets can be any color, okay? It's a matter of what they're made of. And so how do you determine if the bucket you've gotten is food grade? Because if you go to the store, in particular, like for example, we bought this bucket at Menards. Right next to this bucket that was $3, there's a white bucket that is called food grade that is $8. And so you pay twice as much, if not more, for these labeled food grade buckets, but they're actually made of the same thing, okay? So let's talk about how to identify those. If you actually turn your bucket and look at the bottom of it, you will notice there is a triangle there. And that triangle, if you can see that, has a number inside it, as well as some initials here. This one says HDPE, which is high density polyethylene. That's what it's made out of. And the number 2 there indicates that this is a food grade bucket. That 2 is the best number you could look for down there. You can also use buckets that are 1, 4, or 5, okay? But the best ones you want to look for is 2. And the vast majority of the buckets you're going to find out there are that number 2 bucket, which is that high density polyethylene. If you look at, I have an example here. We've got a Lowe's bucket, and again, that Lowe's bucket has a 2 there. And we've also got the official Food Safe bucket. If you look at the bottom of it, it has that exact same marking, number 2, HDPE, okay? Exact same thing. They're both food grade. All of them are. And you can save a lot of money by just buying the store brand buckets. So why are the store brand buckets cheaper? They're cheaper because they don't have the food grade name, okay? You're actually paying for the name when you pay that. Also, they're advertising for that particular store. So the store likes to sell these buckets more than the other ones because these are advertising for that store. Well, for my purposes, it makes no difference to me. So I'd gladly save the money and buy the store brand bucket. Save a lot of money. So $3.99 on the bucket. Again, then we look at lids. Again, I like Menards. Menards sells the Gamma lids, okay, in stock, and they're normally about $7, and they're a great lid. The Gamma lids have a screw-off component here, so the lid goes, look at it this way, the lid goes, that goes on here, it snaps down, and then you can easily screw on and off an airtight lid. That's the advantage of the Gamma lids. You can screw them on and off easily. That provides easy access for your food. And I recommend you have some of these on hand so that if you open up, for example, a bucket of rice and you don't want to eat the whole bucket at one time, then you're able to close this back up when you're done using it, okay? And each day you can open it up and get the rice out that you need. It's easy to open and close. What is good for the long-term storage part is just the typical plastic lid you're going to get at your store. These are much cheaper. These are only about $2. Sometimes you can even find them for $1, and they will keep it adequately sealed long-term. Then this provides your quick access. So a few of these mostly use these types of lids. So we've talked about the food, we've talked about the bucket, let's talk about the Mylar bags. So the Mylar bag we have here, it's already inside our bucket here. We got these off Amazon, and they came like this. So in this particular thing, there was 2 of these boxes, so there are actually 10 bags with the oxygen absorbers already in them, which is a key component. So we have the Mylar bags inside, heavy duty. We also have the oxygen absorbers that are required for this process, and it's all in one kit. Together, 10 bags was $30. So that makes it about $3 for the actual bag and the applicable oxygen absorbers. And they've already pre-measured that. They know exactly. You stick 2 of these in the bucket or in the bag, and it's ready to go. So you'll need Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, and then the last thing you're going to need is you're going to need something like this. And this is, in this case, this is just a hair straightener, like you would find in the hair products aisle at Walmart. But you can get a Mylar sealer, but this works just as good. I actually picked this up at a thrift store for just a couple of dollars. It works great, and it will straighten hair as well as it will seal Mylar bags. And that's the main purpose we're going to use it from. I've cleaned it up and I use it exclusively for this purpose. You can also get an actual Mylar sealer if that's what you would like. Okay, now that you've gathered all the items you need, we just talked about those, let's talk about the process to process this for long-term storage. The first thing you want to do is any of your dry goods that you have. You may have beans, you may have oat, wheat, pasta, a variety of items, or rice in this case. You want to freeze it. And I keep space in my chest freezer so that I can put stuff in there and freeze it. I like to do it 2 to 3 days. That makes sure that any of the unwanted pests, let's say, that might be inside there die before you put them in here. And so I freeze it 2 to 3 days, then take it out and let it thaw 2 to 3 days. That allows any moisture that may have gotten to the surface of the product to get out, because you don't want to bring that moisture in. So 2 to 3 days in the freezer, 2 to 3 days drying in a not so humid environment, then your food is ready to go. So we're just gonna, basically I've got our Mylar bag, we've spread it out, we've inserted it into the bottom of our bucket. We've got 2 oxygen absorbers in this case. If you just had 1, you would put the oxygen absorber at the top. In this case, since we have 2, we're going to put 1 oxygen absorber at the bottom, and we're going to put the other oxygen absorber at the top. So we're just going to bring them out of their sealed packets, get them ready, put 1 in the bottom, we'll do the other one in the top. I'm going to cut the top off of my bag of rice. Okay, and I'm simply going to pour that bag of rice in. Trying to be careful not to spill it. Get all that in there. Ideally, 1 bag of rice fits really nicely into 1 5-gallon bucket. I'm just going to kind of try to make sure it fills it up there. Okay. We're going to put our other oxygen absorber on top. Ideally, you want 2,000 to 3,000 cc's of oxygen absorber. Okay, and that's important. What that's really based upon is the amount of extra air that's inside there. So if you have something that has a lot more air in it, like pasta or something like that, then you might need a little more oxygen absorbers. But you want to make sure you get those oxygen absorbers in there. Then I'm going to try to get all of the air I can out of this bag, as much as I can. And then I'm going to seal it. These particular bags do have like the Ziploc seal on them. So I'm going to get it sealed all the way to the end and leave just about an inch open here. Then squeeze the air out. And try to squeeze as much air as I can out. Then finish sealing that. Okay? Now I've got it sealed using the Ziploc. And now I need to seal it with my hair straightener in this case. Again, any type of Mylar sealer. basically the idea is you're going to melt these two pieces of this bag together. And you're going to do that, again, in this case with a hair straightener. So we're just going to come here. We're just going to clamp that down for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count of 5. And I'm going to keep moving down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep moving down. When I get to the middle, I have to do it a little bit differently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, just try to seal this entire top about 1 inch of this bag. Come to the other side here. Getting it completely sealed is really important. You don't want air to be able to get through this. Some people, in this case, because of the Ziploc function, I don't seal more than about the top inch. A lot of times though, if I'm using bags that don't have the little Ziploc, then I will actually seal down about 3 or 4 inches. You just want to make sure that it all gets sealed good. And I've got a nice solid seal all the way across, and that's going to keep that bag sealed. I put my straightening iron back down on a hot plate, or a plate here, so that it doesn't melt my table. Once I've got that sealed up, I'm ready to close that off and put my lid on it. And it is now good for 25 years. I've then labeled the outside of my bucket so that I know exactly what is inside it. I will label it not only with the contents, 25 pounds of white rice. I will put 25 pounds of white rice in a Mylar bag, and then the date that I sealed it. That way I know all that information, and I can use my goods first in, first out. So that's a great way to store bulk food. The cost of what we just did there, buying the rice, the bag, the oxygen absorbers, the lid, and the bucket, all was about $23 for us. We did a quick search on Amazon and found that the closest comparable thing that we could find was about $60 if you want to get that already done. So you can save a lot of money, okay? Save about 2/3 of your product cost if you just do that yourself. And you can do that, again, as I mentioned, with beans, with oats, wheat, pasta, any of your bulk items. I also do mixed buckets sometimes, just for different purposes. But so I have a bucket outline here, and I've labeled it. I've got pinto beans, I've got sugar, pasta, broccoli and cheddar rice mix, salt, just a variety of smaller items, kind of a mixture. So you can do mixed buckets too. Again, a great way to save money, do it yourself, and still be prepared. Well, if you have any other suggestions or ideas, feel free to comment down below. Also check out the description for links to our various products and things that we've used here. And hope you keep coming back so that you are prepared and more.